Hello. Welcome to the Make It While You Fake It podcast. A podcast about running a custom furniture and woodworking business while also trying to start a community makerspace outside of Philly. All without having any formal education in woodworking or in business. I'm Dan Skirma from Woe Shop Woodworking and Monco Makers, and I'm glad that you're here with us. What's up, Mike?
Not much.
And Jake's here too.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yo, happy Mother's Day for all you mothers.
Almost.
So close.
Almost.
I put that tag on there anyway because you know.
There you go. That's smart.
You don't really know.
Just gotta think ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I had a good weekend. My mom's up in New York, so I didn't really see her, but I sent flowers that were then delivered to the wrong address. That was pretty awesome. Because I got a message from my dad who's like, so you gonna
Do something
call
here?
your mother today or what? I was like, first off, I messaged her in the morning. I was gonna call her after the kids got in bed because they were crazy all day long.
I messaged her.
I did. And then I sent flowers and I paid for extra so they'd actually be delivered at the right time. So he goes, yeah, we didn't get anything. Like,
So you
cool.
paid for the right time, but
Yeah.
not the right address.
I paid for the right address. I confirmed. So I went to 1-800-Flowers and looked. And yeah, they said it was delivered. So I called them.
So it turns out it wasn't.
It definitely wasn't delivered, bro. They don't take the pictures like Amazon.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
So
Figure it
they had no proof that it was delivered. I was like, it definitely wasn't because we would know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, they're like, we're so sorry, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you half off and we'll send new ones. And so she'll get Mother's Day flowers 3 days late on Wednesday, which is lame. So
That is pretty lame.
yeah.
So now your mom thinks that you forgot.
100%.
My dad definitely thinks I forgot and probably thinks it's an excuse. It definitely isn't because I sent him screenshots of me buying them a week ago. I was like, listen, Jack. His name's not Jack. Yeah, no. It was really frustrating, but whatever. It is what it is. I just make a giant pitcher of sangria and make sure my wife has some in her glass all day long. And that's
There you go.
what I do.
That works.
It totally works.
Yeah.
He took care of the kids. They didn't bother at all.
So
They definitely
I tried
all day long.
my hardest. I tried my hardest. My job was pretty much which one's being kind of a jackass at the time and take them out of the house because there is no correcting it on Mother's Day. They'll just keep on pushing.
Exactly.
So that's why there was stuff in here on the floor because I had my daughter in here for about an hour just in here putzing around with stuff just to take her out of the house because she was just not having it.
Oh, yeah.
And then she gets home and my wife had fallen asleep on the couch, which is great. My daughter walks right up to her and goes, Mommy. And woke her up.
Mother, I require attention.
Like, mother,
Why
mommy,
did you wake me
Mama.
up?
mom.
That's amazing.
She had like fallen asleep 5 minutes ago. Like that
Well,
is a killer, man.
that's great.
But it was fine otherwise. But
I'm sure she was warned previously about having kids. So
yeah, I mean they're her
I warned
idea.
Jake, but eventually there's going to be a little Jake running around.
He won't be little. He'll never be little.
Exactly.
Well, they start out somewhat little.
They have to, and then they grow really fast.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if they come out anywhere the size of Jake, Renee's just going to split in half.
Yeah, that's true.
She's so teeny.
That is true. Well, so Jake's exposure with my kids so far has been him having them on the motorcycle, playing with the chainsaw, and standing on the forklift. Those have been the times we've gone to hang out with Uncle Jake.
It's a good time.
We have some pictures that we show my wife like way after the fact.
Mhm.
She goes, when was that? I was like, don't worry about
It was staged. Don't worry.
it. Yeah.
Totally.
We did take the chain out of the chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
There was that. But no, she was definitely standing on the forklift when we started moving around. I was like, hold on. She did want to go for a ride in Gumby yesterday, so went for a ride in Gumby.
Nice.
Still drives like a dream. And also, a Gumby showed up in a brand new show, or the movie that Jerry Seinfeld just put out.
Really?
Unfrosted.
Okay.
Jerry Seinfeld just put out a movie
called Unfrosted. It's pretty much about the Kellogg's post-war of cereal and when Pop-Tarts came out.
What?
And it's actually pretty funny. It has all the whole gamut of comics in it. It's actually it's entertaining. It's stupid and silly. It's very Anchorman level comedy.
Sure.
But yeah, no, they had one of the
Cat Williams as Mr. Kellogg.
One of the fast. No, it's Mrs. Kellogg. It was Amy Schumer.
Ooh.
I'm out.
I'm out. That's done.
She wasn't in it much.
I hate her so much.
But she listens to the podcast. She does.
You know what? You're going to get a message. You lost me.
Asshole.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Look, if Amy Schumer wants to leave us a comment, that's fine, as long as it's a text comment and not a voice comment. I cannot fucking stand her voice.
Nice.
I
can't, dude. There's just some people, their voice is like nails on a chalkboard to me. She is.
Fran Drescher was one that I just.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
I mean, that was pretty purposely like abrasive.
Yeah.
Or
because her regular voice doesn't sound anything like
New York, like dead center New York City women. I can't stand
women from New York City.
New York City. Check. There goes a third of the listeners. Awesome.
But it's it's that accent. I just don't get it. Boston is another one that does it to me. It's like, no.
He's really
I'm hitting all the ones.
Wow. Honing in on the whole everyone that we advertise to.
Do you also hate men who enjoy woodworking?
No.
Douche. You're really bad at marketing.
I know that. That's why I teach the classes and you do the marketing.
That's true. I've been doing some marketing, but not really me. But I've been doing the H Valley Tools videos, which has been entertaining because it's literally just in their warehouse, and they have little spot set up with some wood background and lights and all that stuff. But I found out that I thought it was going to be, because the first couple times, not being used to standing in front of lights and cameras. Sure. So I was all sweaty and gross because it was just hot in there. And I didn't know what I was doing. So just, playing it by ear.
Sure.
And I'm happy to know that the place that was in that building before them was a sports complex.
Yes.
Which is why the ceilings all spray painted green and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was
but she's
the
like
whole sports thing.
The camera girl pretty much said, "Oh no, it gets freezing in here all summer because this was a fully HVAC controlled thing." Which is kind of, so it's not going to get hotter and hotter over the summer when I keep doing these videos like it will in here. So yeah. We might try out as long as old guy Mike over there can figure out how to plug a mic into USB, he probably won't be
that I can do
in the middle of the summer.
I believe in him.
Yeah, I think you can do it. You do the Instagram.
Yes, I do.
I know you do because you send me stuff nonstop all day.
Yes, but it's entertaining. And it's usually the other part is it's usually woodworking and or shop related stuff.
We'll give you 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
Oh, woodworking adjacent.
Yeah, it's very adjacent. And then the epoxy table's done, which is exciting because I want that out of here. New lesson learned. When I got a referral for that table from a friend of mine, I assumed because the friend lives close by that the client lives close by, and they do not. And I didn't even ask.
You have to deliver to California?
Not quite there, but yeah, no,
it's Montana.
It's a 2-hour drive.
Ooh,
it's a 2-hour drive one way. So I'm gonna try. I'm meeting them in the middle probably next week, probably Sunday next week. I'm just gonna meet in the middle.
That maple table is 2.5 to 3 hours away.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
the coffee table that will become half of the coffee table.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them about that yet?
Yes.
They're still on board with having a coffee table the size of a dining table?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of coffee.
That's a ton of coffee.
Wow.
You didn't offer to make it like fold in half or something?
I offered to split it into two that actually that would like ratchet together.
Hmm?
So it would do do what they wanted, but they have
They're
not
just
seen the
not
table
about it.
yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that instant of, oh, what did we get ourselves into today?
Oof.
Yeah, that's a perfect. That's a prime example for the threaded inserts because you're gonna have to.
I'm going to pull it
remove
apart.
them. Yep.
I have the distinct feeling that I am going to deliver it, and it's going to be coming back with me to
Yep.
be cut in half
Yeah.
and made into two.
Hopefully, it's as fast as the oversized kitchen island I did, where he brought it back in an hour.
That would be nice.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Instead of you giving it to them and then them deciding they don't like it 3 weeks later, because that would be really annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the epoxy table go. That's good. And then what else is? I have a couple little things that I had to do. I'm now the plaque guy for the Cub Scouts, so I've now done 5 or 6 of those. Just simple laser thing, and also
That's a reputation to have.
it is. But a local guy here has worked on lasers since the early 90s. A local shop owner in town.
Oh,
The guy from the Vaporium.
So
What is
he's
that place called? It's the Vapor Place.
He's-
oh yeah.
he's
like,
lasering
antiques and
his
stuff.
weed.
He has a smoke shop inside with like all sorts of different things, and then some old antiques that are sitting around. And then he does he lasers tiles, ceramic tiles, and like stuff in the back. But he started talking to me about stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, I worked on them for years. I used to work on them for the pharmaceutical industry and all that stuff.
Nice.
Like, can you come tune up our laser?" He goes, "Oh, absolutely." So we're bartering for stuff.
Nice.
So those are those little post topper things.
Oh.
He's making some lights, and he just needed some modifications to that stuff. So yeah, that's fine. Just come on over and take a look at what I have here. So that'll be cool. I would love to get that like cleaned up, tuned up, and then I don't know, somehow keep the dust off it.
Put a box around it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when it's not in use, actually put a thing over it.
You know what I
Like,
find that
over
works
it.
really well
What's that?
is those stupid bed liners.
Oh, yeah, with
they
the
work pretty
elastic?
good. Yep.
They breathe, yet they stop moisture from coming in.
That's not bad. I do like that. And they're like the fitted sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of curls at the bottom or whatever.
Yeah, you could get.
That's not bad.
That's probably a queen size that would cover that.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's a great idea because I need to have something like having a laser covered in dust is the anti way to keep
Yes.
tuned
Not
up.
ideal.
I'm sure that thing sparkles as it runs.
Oh yeah,
hitting
oh,
the
yeah.
dust
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like,
Oh, yeah.
poof.
And that's the thing. That's a 100-watt laser. I should be able to blast through like a lot of different material with that. And there are people with far less lasers that are cutting through 1/4-inch MDF and all that kind of stuff, and that cannot cut because it is just not tuned well. I think the mirrors are okay. It's shooting in the same spot when you put the tape on each mirror, and you trigger it real quick, you ping it, and then you see the dot where it burns. It's dead center in all the mirrors.
Maybe
There's
they just
other
need to be
stuff.
cleaned.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could need to be cleaned. I honestly don't know how.
I mean, I
well
actually
that
don't
tube
see the
is.
machine. I just see a pile of dust in the square shape.
Well, yeah, that's so for other people that are outside the shop don't see it. It's camouflaged by being covered in dust.
Shop camo.
Shop camo. Just leave it in here for 2 weeks and it's covered in dust.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you're working on some interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, I've got 2 halves of a whole sign
Yes,
that hopefully will be going out the door tomorrow or the next day.
that'll be a lot easier than the vinyl.
Yes. And then I'm working on a support arm for the slider on the table saw. And hopefully by the end of the week, material will arrive for a set of doors that I have to make. Yeah.
Are you doing solid wood doors?
Oh yeah. Solid white oak doors.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
What
And
did
then-
you make another big order from O'Shea or something?
Yep.
Nice.
Has it come yet?
You would see it.
Well, can you throw on a couple of pieces of five quarter sapili?
Sure.
Unless you want to sell what you got over there.
Always willing to sell.
Okay. There's enough there to do that second table.
You're making another one of those tables?
Another one that's too big?
They want a round table. What? They want it 50 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
Why do they want such big
I
things?
have no idea.
I don't-
No, so that's the thing.
Is this like a gentleman's 50 inches? Like, do they understand how to measure?
And also, you said they're like mostly towards New York.
Yes.
Does that mean like North Jersey? Like
No,
rich area North Jersey?
No, like in New York.
So this place is probably enormous. Like
Probably.
So I think you think it's a giant coffee table, but it's probably going in a room that's like 80 by 80. Like at their living room.
Do they just make houses bigger up there?
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I can't even reach
Probably.
across it to sand both sides. I have to walk around it and sand the other side.
that's stubby wingspan.
Short
That's-
people problem.
Dude,
I mean,
I got ape arms. I should be able to do that.
likewise.
They're trying to hug each other from across the table.
Trying. But this table is so big. This table that's been in here for a minute.
Yeah, I might do some work on this table at some point this week.
But where will we podcast if you finish this table?
Apparently, we're going to have a coffee table back here.
That's
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So what are we talking about this week? What's the topic? What do we got?
I have a topic. I don't know if it's interesting or not, but I think it could be.
It is.
Sure.
So the topic would be we've talked a lot about beginners classes and kids classes and, people that just want to get started in this and all that kind of stuff. But the majority of the members are going to be people that already have done something. They like doing woodworking. They've made projects at home. They have like a makeshift shop at home, whatever, but they want a bigger place, bigger tools. They want to be in that community, be surrounded by people.
Sure.
And then they're gonna want to do something that's really challenging that they want private instruction for. So it is, how does it go? Because you have experience in this from the last place. How does it go having private instruction with people that kind of already know what they're doing? Like, what is the lesson? Is it just in execution because they understand it? Like, they understand it from a technical perspective. They just haven't done it before.
So it depends person to person and project to project. But for the most part, when you're doing private lessons with people that are already acclimated to woodworking, we'll say, it's not really so much like hand holding and teaching them how to use a joiner and how to hold boards as they go through a planer. It's more so project planning and order of operations and things like that.
Oh, interesting.
Because for the most part, 90% of woodworking is the same 12, 13 tasks, just done in a different order to different dimensions.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if you do it one way, you end up with a chair. If you change that order of operations, it's a coffee table.
Yeah. Okay.
If you change the dimensions on that a little bit, it's a dining room table.
So, like, when you were doing private lessons and stuff, were people coming to you when they were just in an idea phase? Like, they didn't get started yet?
Yeah, so a lot of people would come to me either with pre-made plans they bought online that were literally just like architectural prints.
Yeah.
They weren't a how-to manual. There was no order of operations.
Yes.
So they would just bring me like a cedar chest of some kind. And they'd be like, all right, so this is the material list and these are the dimensions. How do I make this appear?
Yeah.
And it just comes down to, so a lot of the times private lessons for more experienced people tend to be a lot shorter. That's not usually 2 or 3 hours of hands-on instruction.
That makes sense.
It's an hour sitting at a table and just writing out literally just an order of operations.
Yeah.
Because they have the skills and they know how to do the tasks.
Yeah.
They just don't know what order to do them in.
Interesting.
And a lot of times, especially with the more complicated projects, if you don't really plan out your order of operations ahead of time, then you can get all the way to like step Z and realize that a choice you made at step W kind of fucked you over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's something that a little bit of project planning and just a little bit of order of operations goes a long way.
Yeah. I have definitely struggled with that on any, like, so for that TV console that I had to do the sliding doors and everything, I'm like, there is definitely, I spent a lot of time thinking about that before I did a lot of things.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I'm going to have to like pre-finish the panels because I'm not going to spray lacquer when it already has like that brass, webbing in it. Yeah. I'm not going to, but I also need to tape off this section because if I spray it without that section taped off and I get finish on that, then that's not going to slide like I want it to.
Yeah.
And I can't put wax in it. Like all those little things. That bites me a lot during finishing. Especially if I'm doing cabinetry or some sort of even smaller cabinetry for like TV consoles where I need to get finish inside of a shelf that's enclosed.
Oh, absolutely.
Like stuff like that. It's like I realized like, okay, I spray lacquer in there, right? And then no, it sprays right in your face because you didn't pre-finish anything.
Yep.
That makes sense why that would be a tripping point because especially if people are not making stuff constantly, they're doing hobby projects at their leisure.
Yeah.
There's also, you throw in, we do a lot of, like when you do work with people in a maker space, there's a lot of coffee tables. There's a lot of tables. There's a lot of.
Everybody wants to make tables.
Yeah. Everybody
Nobody
wants to make
chairs.
Yep.
Chairs, on the other hand, are definitely an order of operations thing, or it ain't going together. There's times like you're putting together a bunch of spindles, you have one shot.
Yeah. Right.
You're clamping together and ratcheting straps together and doing all that stuff, and it's like, if I did this out of order, it wasn't going together.
That makes a lot of sense.
You get like dressers and bureaus that are, I like the turn of the century up until mid-century. What you have is panels, floating panels, where you would pre-finish certain parts before you even put it together.
Right.
There are some serious order of operations when you get to more complicated pieces of furniture.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't pre-finish the panel and you make it in summer, and then winter comes around, and then you have a nice little 1/8-inch unfinished line where it shrunk.
Exactly.
Like even this area fluctuates with humidity and temperature so bad. The Philadelphia area furniture, the traditional furniture, was made and designed specifically for this area to be under massive fluctuations of humidity and temperature, whereas like the European stuff, they bring it over here and it fall apart. They don't finish on the inside. We do.
Yeah, interesting.
And part of that is, like I said, some of the stuff you can't get to when it's time to put it. You put it together. It helps keep glue off in certain instances. There is an order of operations that you have to walk through and think it through, because it can trash a complete project.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I put more thought around it when it's a painted project, because I know that I can't get paint in certain areas, or if I'm spraying, I want to spray everything. I don't want to spray and then the gun can't reach in the back, so I'm going to brush this part on. That looks horrible then, because you have mixed techniques. So I've started to pre-finish that kind of stuff, but then it's one of those things where you just can't rush it.
No,
because then you have to think like, where is this joinery going? So I have to tape off that. Now I can spray and pull the tape off before it's dry, so it doesn't peel.
Exactly.
You realize what people are paying for when they get custom furniture, because there's a lot to think about. Yeah.
Just going to the lumber store alone is, you're looking and going, how much is that?
Yep.
Yeah, really.
But I only got 2 boards.
I have to estimate a project. I have to give a builder a number for a guy in Rittenhouse for a built-in wine cabinet and a built-in desk, where my contractor would be doing the install, and he would actually be going back and doing like crown and doing all that other
Well,
stuff.
that in
But
itself,
they
adds
wanted to
a
they wanted to
whole-
be they wanted to be paint ready. I was like, okay, so do you want me to paint it? Like, is that something that you're interested in, or is your painter doing the painting? They're like, we're probably going to handle the painting. You need to have it prepped and ready for paint.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so you want it primed and ready to and installed, and then you guys will take it through. Like, yes. And they gave me just spec drawings with nothing else. It's fine. It's good enough to go off of and create a number for it. But like, they had so many very, very specific things for all their knobs and finishes and everything across the board. So I'm going to have to ask as many questions as possible because I do not want to guess.
Was a designer involved in this?
These look like very expensive plans that were made because it was plans of the entire room and then plans of each individual piece getting built for it too.
Yeah, we had one project. They had these knife hinges. The company that the designer he specified, they were like these rose-colored brass knife hinges.
Yeah.
They were what, $280 some each?
Oh my Lord. So that's not even.
And that's not a
That's
pair.
like-
that's
like,
per knife hinge. And
don't
it
screw
was-
those up.
no. But you know, when you start getting a designer involved,
Yeah.
Some of them really get very, very picky about like that particular job. Every single brass screw had to be vertical.
Oh, when it was finished threaded, like when you got it in there.
Yeah, which these are soft brass. They
Yeah.
barely,
Yeah.
you know, a child could snap them off with a screwdriver.
Yeah. You're like
So-
pre-screwing in a steel one first and then
Yeah, but then you
bike
can't.
the brass one.
There's times where you can't get that full turn,
No.
and you're like, "Oh, I just need." And if you do it, that
Yeah. And
that
if you back
snaps.
it out, it's proud more than the others.
right.
That's really annoying. You actually have to measure your depth exactly with the drill then. Yep. Yeah. It's soft enough, you just hammer it in.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Tricks of the trade.
You put a drift punch on that screw, and you
That's
give it
really
a
funny.
slight smack, and it goes down.
That's really funny. But yeah, no, that makes sense that a lot of the private lessons wouldn't be like the full thing. Like even when you've done lessons in here, like the one guy that you did lessons for that was doing that, he was doing some sort of cabinetry.
Mm-hmm.
Was he like was he an experienced guy?
No.
Okay,
Nope,
because that
not
seems like it was more hand holding than
There's a lot of
others.
hand-holding there. Yep.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, no, he was very much not experienced.
Mm-hmm. Were you getting a lot of that at the other place? A lot of the private lessons of
Oh, yeah.
someone experienced, really?
Yep.
They just needed some stuff cleared. They just needed to like unblock their mind on some stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times you just need an outside perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, hell, even like laying out dovetails. If somebody doesn't know it, I guarantee you the first time someone does dovetails, they mess them up.
I think
There
so.
is-
yeah.
But the first time they set their tails and pins, almost every time the first ones do not line up.
Mm-hmm.
When you start
Yeah.
doing it, and you're like, okay, well, if you stack them this way and do it,
Yeah.
you kind of get a feel for it.
Or you cut away the tails and you leave the waist.
Yeah.
That
Right.
happens all the time in those classes.
Uh-huh.
All the time.
Which is why we're going to be doing a class on sunburst.
Of course.
It's a sunburst joinery.
Absolutely. I can't wait to
Jake,
see.
did you make one of those?
A long time ago.
That's an exercise in headache.
Yeah, it's once you wrap your head around how the geometry fits together, it's really not that hard to cut. It's all just learning how to cut a straight line. Once you can cut a
That
straight
and getting
line,
a feel for how much extra space you need to get it to fit.
well,
So
yeah.
if it's snug, because the way that they're angled, it's almost like all of it is on 45 end degree, end grain.
Yeah.
They are real delicate. So if you make it a little bit snug, whereas the other one you could smack it with the hammer, it's smack it with the mallet,
Right,
it's going
right,
together.
right.
This has to be it has to be cut perfect, or else it doesn't go together. And if you have a little too much off of it,
Yeah.
it really looks bad.
So that is where execution I really struggle with doing that. Even just fitting in mortise and tenons where you're like, this should fit, and I always make it too tight. And then it's like, well, which part gets pared down? And it's really, for some reason, it is really difficult for me to wrap around.
I always pare down
exactly which face needs to be pared down. And then I try it. I'm like, it's still tight. That was the wrong one. Damn it.
Since more than likely you're either using a router or the mortise machine to do your mortises. I mean, you can cut them out with chisels, but that gets old.
That's what I did last time. It took forever.
So we usually part off of the tenon itself. We have the like the 1-inch rabbet plane over there, and you can set up a guide. You could even do it with the router plane too, and just shave it down, or a float, like a float file, and you just a couple of swipes, and there should be almost a paper's thickness looseness to accommodate for glue and swelling. Because once you put that glue on, it starts swelling, and it will lock up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know that, and then when I do it, I do not execute that way. I make it way too tight, which is funny.
Everybody does.
I get the concept because I know tolerances, what to set on CNC for stuff to fit in. And I'm like, I know it. I just don't practice it enough.
So what I don't know how Jake feels because the smell is horrible, but
he doesn't have senses anymore in his nose.
No.
Whatever he
but
had,
high glue
accident took him away or something.
Yep.
Because we were doing a lot of restorations and pieces that were going to have to be redone in 200 years.
Yeah.
We used a lot of hide glue because you can soften it up, you can take it apart, you can fix it, you can put it back together again. But it's great because it's also slippery. So when you put the hide glue on it and it slides together, it's lubricated and it goes together real easy. And the blobs of glue, if you let it sit to where it starts to jelly, all you have to do is just grab it and peel it off. It comes off as like a piece of caulk.
What is that set? Just overnight?
It sets very quickly.
Yeah.
But it
very quickly.
It keeps on getting harder overnight. It shrinks. So when you do it, it's got volume, but as it dries out, it shrinks. It'll pull pieces together.
That's nuts. I didn't know that.
You can actually, if you sandblast glass and then paint it with hide glue, you know those snowflake, like the frost on the windows?
Yeah.
That's actually done with hide glue. When you sandblast it, gives it the glass roughness. The glue grabs onto it, and as it shrinks, it pops all those crystal looking.
No way.
Yeah. So hide glue is some tough stuff.
And that's...
but it's great to put together with mortise and tenon because it's slippery, whereas...
Does that still swell the joint?
A little.
Initially?
Initially, a little.
It also takes stain really nicely and finishes.
Yeah, well, you don't get...
That's unique characters.
Like with the polyvinyl, you don't get blonde spots where you didn't see the glue.
Right, yeah.
A major shadow.
This stuff, hide glue pretty much stains just like wood.
That's awesome.
And it's great.
Definitely explains why it's used forever. It's still used.
And it's actually a good hide glue is stronger than polyvinyl.
That's pretty good. What's the stuff you used on those outdoor golf course gate and doors? Was that polyurethane glue? The one that you needed to get wet?
It's polyurethane.
Yeah, that was your thing.
That's the amount of stuff that came out of the joints when you actually clamped it together blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
It was like spray foam. That stuff was nuts.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that stuff. It's so one of the biggest misconceptions when people use urethane glue is they see it foaming, so they think that it's a gap filling glue. And it
has to have have a perfect joint.
If there is any gap in the joint, then it's literally
actually gonna push it out.
No, so it's
weak.
Yeah, it's weak. So it's it has the strength of like styrofoam at that point.
When I do masonry, like say your retaining walls,
Mm-hmm.
I have a bottle of Gorilla Glue and I just give it a squirt on the masonry and stick the next one on. It locks it in, but you can break it loose with a mallet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very weak.
Interesting. Okay.
It's strong when you've got a good joint, but you can't. It's not a gap filling joint, you know.
Nope. Yeah, your surfaces need to be mated pretty damn near perfect.
And you have to have a certain moisture content or it won't cure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
That's
makes sense.
why you saw
Yeah,
wetting them.
you were literally just like spraying them before
Yep.
you were clamping them in. Interesting. Yeah, because I remember you're like, there was barely enough room for them to fit. You're like, they have to be. And
Exactly.
I was like, but then you're spraying them and swelling. I was like, that's why I have to move fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Those are also really giant joints because they were for gates.
that was really fucking annoying.
They were so big.
Never again.
So heavy.
They were like what, 4 inches thick?
Yeah, they were 16 quarter timbers. They were
They're
4
so
inches
big.
thick by
They were Sapele, weren't they?
Yeah.
the
Oh my god.
the skinniest of the sections were 6 inches. And then the largest of them, I believe, were like 10, give or take.
And those were
They were 4 by 10.
rectangles with an X in the middle
Yes.
that were half lapped.
Yep.
And then all that jointed together.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I think the X's you had the tenons coming up.
Order of
Tops.
operations.
Absolutely.
Major order of operations.
Uh huh. And not only that, because something like that, it's not like you can just move a little material, bend a little material to like
No. You can't bend
nothing was
4 by 10.
moving.
Like if you're doing socket or mortise construction, there's a couple of them where all corners have to be put together at the same time
Yep.
because the angles, you can't get it apart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Once it's together, it's together.
Yeah.
And if you mess up one of those
Yep.
things, it's start all over again.
Oh yeah. What's his face? The Bourbon Moth guy put a video out to make a stool, like a shop stool, last week, and he decided it was a 3-legged stool, and he wanted the joinery, essentially the stretcher in the bottom of the stool to connect all the legs. He wanted those to be interlocking half laps, but 3 of them. So like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so he's like, I realized after I dry fit them that I still need to get glue in them and I can't get them apart.
Uh-huh.
Because he's like, but he was using, I don't forget what wood he was using, but it was malleable enough that he could kind of tap and bang on those 3 spots and they would kind of start to seat and eventually they would click in.
Sure.
Once they would square up. He's like, well, now what do I do?
Any type of chair is an exercise
Yeah.
in frustration.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it seems that way. And that's honestly, that's it. I would imagine that's a perfect project for someone to ask for private lessons to
Yes.
finish it off. Because you could try and you could screw it up, and if that's the way you want to learn, that's fine. But eventually, you do want a chair that works. And if it's just a bit
Eventually.
of knowledge to get you across the finish line, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool. No, wasn't sure how popular like a private instruction from experienced people would be. That does make a lot of sense.
Oh, they sell.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're not like taking up a whole bunch of machinery and sitting at hand holding like someone like that. You're not sitting at a joiner for like 2 hours. People would still use the tools. You're mostly sitting down and talking about
The course that I sent you today,
it. Mm-hmm.
where I said, it was a tray with a lot of bent laminate and other stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that you have to have somebody holding your hand a little bit sometimes with steam bending.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
There are times one person cannot do it.
Yeah.
You have a choreographed. Hey, we're going to be cranking on this.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be pulling
Yeah,
this. You
yeah,
clamp this. So that's where some of the private lessons I think will also go because people are going to want to do chairs,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and some of those you can't do by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. Like some of my favorite videos are like the old school boat building guys that are bending and steaming wood. And they have like the giant crank that's pulling the whole thing.
We will be having a
Love
boat
that.
building course too, by the way.
We are.
Yes.
You're really diving deep.
No, I build boats.
You build boats.
You never seen any of it?
That sounds like it would take a while.
About, if we do the staple method with it, about 40 hours. If it's
That's 40 hours
of productive work.
of a skilled craftsman's time, not teaching a
being
class
productive
with
the whole
beginners.
So this is
Yeah.
So okay. So now we're gonna go to a 4-week intensive course.
no.
We're gonna
Actually,
rent
cedar
a
strip
second
construction.
facility just to have the boat building.
The cedar strip construction is pretty straightforward and easy. One of the things that's going to cut back is the molds will
so many
be.
videos on that. That's not easy.
It is. Trust me. Anybody can do it. It's not that hard.
I'm sure it's just a series of steps, but it looks quite complicated.
Yes, it does look complicated. It's not. I've seen people do them in 20 hours. I don't like staples.
I've seen an Ethiopian run like crazy for 20 hours. That doesn't mean I can get average Joes to do it.
In about 45 minutes on YouTube, I saw a guy with no shoes build a dam that works in a little river in the woods that generated electricity.
I love those videos.
Those are amazing.
Yeah.
Those really, I really can't turn them off. Those guys and the other guys that build like their houses into the side of a mountain because they just keep digging.
Yeah.
And then they create a pool.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the hell? This is amazing.
So one of the things that you got to keep in mind is, for the most part, we're not going to be running this shop in an aircraft hangar.
That's what I mean.
For the most part,
forms.
The classes are going to be restricted to projects that will fit on a bench not much bigger than Dan's.
Yeah. I
Per
feel like
student.
that's 99.9% of the classes.
Exactly. And I mean, every now and then you will get a private lesson request for somebody that wants to make a cedar strip canoe.
Sure.
Well, that's what we would be doing is like kayaks, cedar strip canoes. We wouldn't do anything bigger. Maybe like a little pram or a little rowboat type thing, but we wouldn't be going, hey, I want to build a 40-foot boat. No.
A lot of times, more often than not, the people that want to build those projects often get a really bad case of sticker shock when you tell them, so this is like going to take roughly 35 to 40 hours. And they start doing the math, and 35 to 40 hours at whatever the hourly rate is, $120 an hour.
Right. Yeah.
And they start doing the math and they think, I could buy 4 of these for that price.
Right. It's like, how much is it worth to you to actually make this?
We just don't tell people that.
We just don't tell people that. Good Lord, Michael.
I'm telling you, this is marketing genius coming out of my. He's insulting half the audience, and now he says we won't tell them how much it is. We'll just give them
a bill at the end.
We'll just make them sign contracts blindly.
Well, once they get, you shouldn't be in woodworking if you're thinking you're going to save money.
That's fair.
I mean,
yes, that's fair.
You're just playing the husband. If hey, I could get these tools and build this, and we'd be getting it for almost free. Yeah, that doesn't work. Everybody knows that doesn't work.
You don't know that yet.
Every crafter knows that isn't how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I look at what lumber and you're getting, maple was what, $7 a board foot now?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Dude, 8-quarter red oak is like 6.5.
Yeah, it's
It's
red oak should be free.
Yeah, kind of. Please take it. Yep. There was apparently at some local show, there was some guy selling river tables for $600.
Really?
I don't know how that math worked out. And then we had local guys who were then asked from people who saw that price at that show, and they were asked like, "So can you make me one for like $600?"
No, he was doing that as a tax write-off.
That's what I mean. I was like,
The business lost money.
for $600, you could buy half the epoxy you need for your river.
Oh my
table.
God. A gallon of epoxy is like $200.
It's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, most of the material cost on that was just epoxy.
Oh, easily.
Because I had the lumber. It's like that. Those are old, like punky wood pieces that I pulled from a thing that was all burls and whatever, but it was all filled
Useless.
with punk. Yeah. There's nothing else to do. I mean, I only kept them to do epoxy projects. Yeah, I think there's $1,200 of epoxy in that.
Yeah.
In that table. And that's not a big table.
There was one guy, we were in the Philadelphia furniture show, and one of the guys there was doing high boys,
Yeah.
and he was selling them for like $5,000.
That doesn't make sense.
And I looked at him like, how that covers the wood.
Yeah.
But it was weird when we started talking to him. He basically just liked doing it.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was breaking even.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no way. No, and that's, I mean, I don't know if you ever saw.
Of course, his wife was in the medical field, and he didn't have to worry about money.
Well, there's that. I mean, if you've seen the high boys that like Tommy Mack has built, or like even the one Matt Cremona built, somebody asked him one time, what would you, if you were to sell that? He looked at it. He goes, he sat down, and it was a whole video. Like, if I actually made this for a customer, because he doesn't do any commission work, so he started, because he had full documentation of it because he was documenting the build for a guild video. So he had all the footage, and it's exactly how long. He's like, if I take out all the footage and I don't do filming, and this is how many hours I was actually physically working.
15 to 18.
Yeah, he's just like, this probably would have been around $28,000 to $30,000 if you actually wanted to commission it. That's how much it takes, because it took that many hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've all got all that curly maple. You've got
he turned
everything.
every finial. He like bent every single thing. He carved every piece of it. He didn't use a CNC for any of it. Like, it was all hand done.
But if you look at like Raymore and Flanagan stuff, areas, well, why they can sell it for $3,000?
Yeah.
It's hot glued and tacked together with brads, and it falls apart within 3 years.
Well, and I was asked this morning. The lady sent me a picture of a table, and she goes, "So how much to refinish and stain this darker?" I was like, "I can't. No one will do that." And I looked at it, and it was all veneered, like old school, like big box type, Raymore and Flanagan stuff from the 90s or whatever. I was like, every part of the bottom is like turned, and there are all these little like ball pieces and decorative pieces. I'm like, there's no way.
Guess what I saw on the internet today?
What?
I saw something cool on the internet
How
today.
big were they?
Pretty small, actually.
Oh, okay.
Those really satisfying videos where some Chinese company is advertising a rust removing laser?
Oh yeah, dude, that thing looks awesome.
I love them.
It's like
Very
$8,000.
Very satisfying videos to watch, yes. But even more satisfying,
You got to play with one.
no. I saw somebody use one of those on a cabinet door
Oh,
To
it takes the finish clean
to
off.
strip the
It's
finish.
amazing. It is amazing.
Blew my mind.
It is amazing.
It doesn't burn the wood at all.
Nope.
I
just-
watched that the other day.
And
Yeah.
it's a wide.
It was a
band.
raised cabinet door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah. Dude,
That-
that
I
is-
probably sent it to you.
I think that tool. I think it is $9,000 roughly. if I
Oh my God,
remember.
dude, you could
It would be worth it.
I
you
think
could
it's
make
something
that back. Think of all the refinishing jobs that you turned down.
Every
can't-
one of them.
But
Exactly.
you can't do them anymore because they've outlawed most of the chemicals used in stripping.
Exactly. So you use a laser that just burns off the
Yeah,
finish.
John stopped
really.
doing stripping for the furniture mill because of the EPA and the regulations that he had to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, no, that thing is absolutely
course.
incredible.
Vaporizing lead paint with that laser is not good.
Yeah, you just do it next to a fan that goes outside.
Just like when
That's fine.
just like when you sandblast and when you powder coat.
You wear a
spray
respirator.
lacquer. You just kind of like open the door and you turn the fan on.
Totally.
Super safe.
Super safe.
Oh man, wood finish. Now I'm trying to. I have to find that. I have to find the gun. There it is. Let's see. Pulsed laser paint stripping can selectively remove paint layers from extremely high precision without damaging the wood surface.
Yeah.
How much?
It is called a Chutin laser. Chutin. I don't. I guess so.
I'm going to guess that's Chinese.
Yeah, that's number 31 on the menu.
It's chemical free. It's fast and effective. Precision without destruction. Straight up, ask us for a quote.
It's expensive.
There's not even a number on this page.
No.
It's like and I like how all the other solutions they have are laser marking machines, laser welding, laser cutting, easy smart laser, 3D 5-axis laser cutter. That sounds like death.
Mm-hmm.
You have a laser literally shooting around in all directions.
You ever hear of a company called Raytheon?
Sharks for that.
Well, yeah, Raytheon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's actually their tagline: precision without destruction. Destruction costs more.
Jesus, look at these things. Yeah, no, that's nuts. We won't have one of these in the makerspace. Unfortunately, we won't. That would be nice.
That's a shame, man.
I don't think we're going to be shooting lasers in all directions.
Could we have it in the professional section of the shop?
I mean, he already
The
turned down.
professional
He already
section
turned
is not
down.
going to admit.
He already turned out a spray
Yeah.
booth. I don't think he's going to have 5-axis lasers.
No.
No, I'm out. No. Oh man, it's really cool looking. Oh wow. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I at least I want to see one. We got to go to one of those
Trade
national
shows.
Yeah.
Go to the one in, was it North Carolina or South Carolina?
There's that. Well, yeah. There's that one, and then there's what's that? That's the Woodworking America.
I think so. Yeah.
And then there's one in Jersey every year too.
I've been.
Yeah,
It's
the one
good
in
to go.
Jersey's trash.
Really?
It's
I'm not a
it's
fan.
fun to go to get. Like, hey, I need to go get blades, or hey, this is kind of cool to do, or
Okay.
it's not what it used to be. It's not the industrial show.
Oh, okay.
Fort
Gotcha.
Washington used to have that dual show, so you had to be invited for the industrial,
Oh, that's cool.
and it was great. I mean, they had CNCs that were 50 feet long.
Yeah.
They had the porta cable booth
Yeah,
was cool.
yeah.
You look at it, you make what?
Yeah.
Here's a 24-inch circular saw.
Yep.
Why do you need that?
Well, of course.
Not that it's not cool, but why do you need that?
I mean, some of the accounts I follow on Instagram that are specifically for like the automation of those crazy CNC machines.
Yeah.
I love watching it. There's one at Woodworking America where it was a CNC creating it did the profile, it cut all the mortise and tenon, cut the panel in the middle, but it's literally spinning this thing in every direction it needs to spin it in. It would sand it and then it would finish it. Like that is just so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I also agree that that's like another level of automation where you're not actually doing anything at that
No.
point. Like,
Nope. Not even a little bit.
no, that's just pressing buttons.
Yeah, it's even a lot of these are automated. It picks up the piece, puts it in the chuck.
Yeah,
It's-
right. Yeah.
All you're there is to supervise and have your hand above the big red button.
Now, to that end, I still want the CNC with the tool changer because I think that's awesome.
Those are cool.
They're really awesome.
Yeah.
And that's not a level of automation above you actually needing to figure out how this thing is being constructed.
And the nice thing is the way that the collars are set up on those, it's the right depth every time once you program it.
Yep. So I have to do four tables and 2 large cutting boards. 4 tables and 4 large cutting boards with inlaid wood in them, using a V-carve inlay or whatever.
Doing the mirror image
Yeah.
insert in glue.
Putting the negative and all that kind of thing, and then clamping it down.
Have you ever done that?
I haven't. I've always wanted to. So this is the first project I'm going to do it for. I've watched enough videos that I know how to do it where they were using the same software we use. So like, it's not that difficult. I'm going to have to practice at a smaller level before I do the big ones. But like even that, it would be so nice to have to, because I need the 1/4-inch bit to hog out a bunch of stuff, then the V-bit to come through and like refine it, and then the surfacing bit to erase it once the negative is dry. So now I have to kind of put fixtures and screw them into the table so that I know that they're all aligned the exact same, because I can't trust it because we don't have a touch plate on that CNC, which sucks. But yeah, no, tool change is definitely in the future. That's when I get the Laguna IQ whatever smart CNC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really want that. It's only like $50,000.
What's the reviews on that?
They're good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're really good. Yeah, they have like, it's when I talked to them last time, I called Laguna before I got this one, and yeah, they're like, it wasn't a long lead time. It was about a 30 to 60-day lead time, but it was also shipping. I think from Texas was where they were shipping it from. They said it was roughly another $3,000 to ship it. And then they also come here and they set it up. So they have techs meet you once it arrives.
It's worth it for the setup.
That's the thing. It's fully functional when they leave.
It's called turnkey, and
Yeah,
you're not responsible.
It's the white glove service. Yeah. Like, just get it up and running, because I really don't know. But like, you have to work with them ahead of time to make sure all your power requirements are done, so like they can actually come and just start working.
Now, is that a 3-phase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the 3-phase for the vacuum. It's the 3-phase for the actual machine itself. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, we're almost at an hour already. I don't know.
There it is.
So lots of different. So Mike's going to teach some really immersive, like 6-month course in boat building in a second facility.
It's a 2-week course. That's all it is. It's a 2-week course.
We even have a mortgage broker that will hook you up for.
That's right. You can buy a house locally.
Yep.
Because it's going to take you long enough to pay the mortgage off to finish your boat.
Oh no, I just mean just to pay for the tuition for the class.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. That'd be nice.
The molds would already be done. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
The molds would be done, and they basically you do the strips, and it's just gluing the strips on. When you staple, it goes quick.
Okay.
If you don't want to do the staple method, and because you're glassing, you're putting fiberglass cloth and epoxy inside and out, staples, the holes get filled.
Sure.
But like when I would do it, I never liked the look of the holes from the staples. Mm-hmm. So I would bungee and have other fasteners to hold it. And I could do, I don't know, about a boat takes about 50 strips to do. And I could do about 6 to 10 a day.
Nice.
But you're not, it's like you glue them, you walk away.
Yeah.
You glue them, you walk away.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was like, once they start doing the course, you're not even instructing them for the most part. They're doing, you instruct them, but then it's a repetitive thing to go and put the strips on.
I mean, that would actually be kind of interesting to have a course that is spread out enough where it's like, all right, now you know what to do. We've gotten to this point where now it's just literally you doing the work and you doing the labor. We've taught you enough to know how to finish. The next part of this, the next set of instructions is in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Like you have 3 to 4 weeks to come in on your own time and finish these sections.
And like the homeowners, I've seen homeowners that basically they'll spread it out over a year.
Sure.
So if you had the makerspace people, they're like, hey, I want to do a cedar strip.
Yeah.
The molds are there. They can make their own molds. They can do whatever they want, but there's somebody there to instruct them. It wouldn't be a full hand holding every moment. You would give your basic instructions on how to do it. You would be in the shop because, you know, there are times when they would have questions, but it would be something that they could do over the course of the year. Cool. Put a couple strips, go do the rest of their work. Put a couple strips, go do the rest of their work.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Let's just throw a tiny house course.
And they
Let's make tiny
even
houses.
faster.
Do that too.
There's
I'd love
paddle
to go timber
boards you can
framing
make
class.
in in that method,
Mm-hmm.
which would take half the time.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we need to start writing all this down.
We have it on audio.
We do, but we need. So that's the thing. I want to start making. So I started reaching out to a couple people. So far, no one's taking on new work, but I'm trying to search for people who could start, drawing up designs and stuff for classes that we come up with, where we do a build and then they can actually put that into instructions and tutorials and whatever. Just pretty much the paper you hand out at classes. People that know how to do those kinds of graphics and stuff, because that's a whole other art form.
And while you're making fun of it, but what happens to the person that's been at the makerspace for 3 or 4 years? They're competent. They know what they're doing for most of the things, and they want to expand.
Sure.
We were talking about, earlier we were talking about experienced classes.
Yeah.
That would be one. Again, you're not holding somebody's hand,
Sure.
but you have the molds set up, you have the machinery set up.
At what point is that not even a class, if that's just one-on-one instruction? Because I can't imagine you could even host a number of people doing this at the same time.
Oh, they do. There's guys that do it, and they usually host up to about 10 people.
That's a lot.
They have the molds already done,
Wow.
and it's just doing, like assembly line building.
Honestly, that's really just a space requirement at that point.
Yep.
Yes.
Because you don't need that much. You don't need that many tools to do that.
No.
Interesting. Oh, definitely something to think about. I would love to get a lot of this stuff kind of fleshed out a little bit more, so they become realistic.
I mean, to the point where you throw the ideas up, put them on a piece of paper, figure out which ones you want to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Then we build the lesson plan on it, and we can offer it.
Yep.
Who knows? In Hatboro, they may not want to do cedar strip canoes.
We don't have a body of water all that close. Where would you say the closest one where someone would bring a cedar strip canoe? They bring one to like Peace Valley Park and just run around for a day?
Peace Valley Park, Tyler Park.
Yeah, I guess so. Float around for a day.
It's like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Delaware is right down the street.
That'd be kind of fun. I floated down the river a couple times. That was fun. Just you have one extra blow up swimming pool filled with ice and beer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great time.
Yep.
And you always get one guy who's had too much who then floats in the wrong direction where it divides.
Mm-hmm.
I'll meet you on the other side. And then he's like 200 yards ahead of you.
Oh, yeah. One side always runs faster.
Uh-huh. But anyway, if you want to support the show, you go to patreon.com/MoncoMakers. We do have a couple different tiers on there, and merchandise has started to come in. We got some stickers. We got some shirts.
Ooh.
So yeah, we'll be sending some stuff out to some paid patrons. And starting to use that a little more. We're going to start offering a couple different things that are specific to patrons. So yeah, feel free to support the show with that. All the proceeds go to Monco Makers. You can find us on Make It While You Fake It or Monco Makers on Instagram. He's J. Rosser Design. I'm Woshop Woodworking, and
I'm Michael Petrus on Instagram.
Michael Petrus. Good luck
Shot
spelling.
Mike.
Shot Mike. At Shot Mike.
Do I have to make a second Instagram and just put Shot Mike?
I'm sure Shot Mike is taken, but you might have like Shot Mike with like 4 E's on the end or something stupid.
Or you could just change your normal Instagram to Shot Mike.
Shot Mike could work.
Be a lot simpler.
There's too many kids and dog pictures on there.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for supporting the show, and I guess we will see you next time.
See ya.
Later.